You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. With me today, Director of Talent Relations of the Generation Next League, Mr. James. Mr. James, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh man, dude, you know what? This show is moving along, and the more opportunities I get to get different managers, different IWA personalities on is oof. It's making it even more and more exciting for me.
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on. I love doing these shows, as you know from our show. I love just getting my voice out there and entertaining some of the IWA guys.
Oh yeah, no, man. I mean, throughout the shows that we've done, different managers have already, gone on air, and Generation Next is their favorite league. So whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it, brother, because it's working.
I appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody's feedback. Me and Wes, we really appreciate everybody giving listen to our show. We appreciate your show for shouting us out as much as you do. Along with the IWAR guys, we appreciate them. And honestly, I appreciate everything you do for the generation, between the artwork and your NOJ guys and stuff like that. You really brought in a new aspect to the league. And if anybody hasn't seen it, check out the Generation Next Facebook page, because Flip and Commissioner Nichols got a big surprise approved, and it looks great.
You know what? I mean, I'm not going to take any credit for, because I give the credit to the commissioner of the
Oh man,
WWL.
he and Wes gave all the credit to you.
Oh yeah, no, because that commissioner is the first one that opened the floodgate. I mean,
Okay.
if you haven't peeked at the WWL, James,
Yeah.
go take a look at that
Uh,
bulletin, because he's the one that opened the floodgate. And as soon as I saw that, I reached out to as many commissioners that I could. I'm like, you know what? Here's a template. Push it to
yeah.
Kim, see what she says. And I pushed
Yeah.
it out, and Wes, he got it, and he's all like, guess what? Kim said okay. I'm like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
on. Oh yeah.
I mean, and if our league wasn't out there enough, this is just gonna make it 10 times better.
Oh yeah, no, it's, you know what? And I mean, I'll tell you, like I've talked to Wes. I mean, you know, we can customize it, to a certain extent, where we can add different, like collision courses coming up for us.
Hmm.
So we can start adding collision course, coming up on the actual front side of the bulletin now.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's gonna. Oh yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah. Collision course is gonna be a big night for the GNL there.
Oh yeah, you know what? And I've gone on air, and I'll go on air again saying, I enjoy the pace that you guys run there. The build up, to the pay-per-views. In this case, your third pay-per-view now. What? Excuse me, James.
Yes. This will be. We're trying to work this. This is gonna be our third pay-per-view in Tour 15, and then Tour 17 is actually our 1 year anniversary. So we're trying to figure out how to work something in for Tour 17. I don't think it's going to be as big as our normal pay-per-views,
Nice.
but we're definitely trying to figure something special out for our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I had the commissioners of the AWL and the CCL on, and they got their, they're in the steel, and
Hmm.
I've gone on air with them saying that they run probably the fastest leagues in the IWA,
Yeah.
because I mean, they got pay-per-view, cycle in, cycle out, and I think I've said it, a number of times. There's a lot of different ways to play this game. There's, a lot of different paces. If you want a fast pace, a fast moving league,
Hmm.
definitely check those guys out. As for the pace that I prefer, the pace that you guys are running suits,
Hmm.
fits my style, fits, allows angles, allows trash talk to develop.
And that's what I love about this. I love that it's if somebody it's not one sneak attack and then all right the match is there. It's trash talk back and forth. It's sneak attacks back and forth. Everybody gets their shots in. You give some, you take some, you throw some out there, and then it's all building up to the big climax at the end.
And speaking of big climax at the end, we have a lot of nice rivalries. Uh, I'll let you take the lead on this. Which one do you want to start with? Because I know we got a lot building up to Collision Course. So
Yeah, we got the big match between Hi Jackson and Anthony Hodges. That's going to be, these guys do tremendous work with their back and forth, especially on the Facebook page. I've said from the beginning that I love when people trash talk on the Facebook page because it's not waiting 3 weeks to hear a response. You can hear the response right then.
oh yeah,
We also have Princely and Deacon Dave fighting over the junior Next Crown title. So we'll see how that works out. I've said multiple times on our show, the flock scares me. And
it seems like that's kind of building up to that kind of a collision right there, where the flock and the realm are going to
oh
collide.
yeah,
So that worked out very well.
because then we got Dorgan and Reverend James Jones for the Super Next Crown.
And I'm sure you caught that little post on Facebook.
Yeah, 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 and I threw a nice one. I threw a nice one out there for Dorgan, trying to. This guy, the guy who runs the flock, is just so good at what he does with his three wrestlers in there that it's with the and that's what going back to loving Facebook is that I have a hard time writing out long TTs for our bulletin because of the general manager's report, Spencer Bateman's report, stuff like that. So it takes a little bit away from Dorgan stuff TT wise. If I can do something on the Facebook page to throw it out there and put fuel to the fire, that's the way I'm going to do it.
Nice. Oh yeah, no, and that's the beauty of the groups. Like I've gone on air with a couple managers, and they talked about the old bulletin board system that they had,
Yeah.
the dungeon,
The dungeon.
and it kind of like this is the evolution of the dungeon. I mean, whether you want to admit to it or not, boards are, yeah, they're a thing of the past. I mean,
Yeah.
they're useful in a lot of ways, but why backtrack?
Yeah. And I mean, you know what? I always said to each their own. It took me a while when I came back. I didn't want to email at all. I just wanted to do the old snail mail, send my stuff in.
Wow,
But
you were holding on to the roots.
yeah, I was. And then I talked to Matt Riley about it, and he was like, "I'm telling you," he was like, "just." And I tried it once, and I can't do it any other way now. I have my email all set up already. All I do is transpose numbers to who the champions are and stuff like that, and who I want to fight.
Nice.
And I throw the new strategy in there, and I send it right to Kim. It's just so much. And I've talked to a lot of guys who are like, oh well, how do you do and I tell them, I'm like, listen, I said just try it once and you'll never go back.
Right. Oh yeah. No.
I mean,
I'll tell you this. I mean, I wouldn't survive without it, because there's some times where, I got, this and that going on, and the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, dude, I got to turn in bronze. And here I go, at 3 o'clock in the morning, typing up my, my strategies and sending them in. I'm like, without it, it would be impossible.
I'll tell you what. And I hope I'm not jumping the gun on this. I know we're going to talk about this later, but my guys in the UNL, I won Elite, Bronze, and Metro with those. That night, I got home at maybe 11 at night. It was a Sunday, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. And I just looked at it, sent it in, 501. I was like, see, I said that's the way to do it every time.
That's like spur of the moment. That's the trick. That's it.
Twice that's happened to me in the NWL with Johnny Carnage. I did that one night where at 11 o'clock, I totally forgot, and I just threw something together, sent it out, and he got a 500, and I won league title.
Ah, nice.
It seems like, and I tell me and Wes have because our characters are tag team partners. We talk a lot about our strategies, so we try and make a good tag team strategy. And I tell him all the time, he's like, "Man, I don't know. I think I messed up." I'm like, "Whatever your first thought is, go with that."
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because
That
if
gut
you
feel, that
start
gut
to
instinct.
if you start to second guess yourself, you're gonna drive yourself nuts.
Oh no, I've gone beyond nuts already, and I'll tell you this, brother. I mean, because I've already, I have my chart and I stick to whatever flows on there,
Hmm.
and I stick to that same flow until it hits.
Yeah. You
I
see,
I know
I
you guys track, right? You're
yeah,
tracking drops.
I
Oh yeah,
track,
that's the way to do it.
I track everything. What I was told is that I'm not tracking enough because the back
Oh,
five, I track 25 to 30 for every league. Even though I'm only in 3 federations, I track every federation.
ah,
And the back five, I track 42 to 45. Now, somebody told me that I should be tracking the 41s too.
oh yeah.
So
And,
I'm
and
like,
and
now,
as silly as it sounds, the 23s and the 24s as well.
yeah,
Because
yeah. And
ugh.
now I'm like, I've got a year's worth of information, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I add this stuff in now?
Oh
So, I
man.
mean, I do a good job at winging it. Like we say on our show, we just wing it. And
Just
yeah, I do a good job with that. I'll every now and then when I get that gut feeling that a 41's gonna hit, I'll just look at the bulletin and see what the 41s are, and I'll be like, all right, I'll take that one. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? It's a game.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the one thing about I mean, I'm surprised as to, when I'm, going through this, how many like I got on air with one manager that is in one league.
Hmm. Well,
And he
there's also actually in the UNL, there's also a tag team specialist. His name is slipping my mind right now, but this guy literally has won. He has 2 wrestlers in the whole IWA, both in the UNL, and he just tag team wrestles all the time. And
nice.
he's hit IWA World Tag Team like 3 times.
Oh, that's sick. My stomach
Yeah,
just turned. My stomach just turned.
he's like
Oh,
he is a phenomenal tag team wrestler, and
oh wow.
those are the only 2 guys that he has. It's amazing.
Ah, yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, yeah. But I mean, is he a trash talker?
No, no,
Oh,
doesn't trash
see
talk
that,
much.
and that's the same thing with the guy in the LNO. And like I said, as I mentioned him, I'll give him a shout out, Dennis Mooney. And
Yeah,
Dennis, he's one of those managers that, he's told me before that, that he's had, that he's only been in one league throughout the entire time. So, it just shocked me.
yeah, it's. I mean, and that's what I say. A lot of guys say, well, what's the advantages of big rosters? Big rosters, you can have a big roster and you can play a lot of different strategies. But I mean, don't count out the little guys. I got 8 guys, and I was right there for that world title. I hit the elite, and that was just one of my 8 guys. It's not impossible to get into that stature just having a couple guys.
Oh yeah, no, but my thing is, you would figure or you would hope if you're running a small roster that you would trash talk.
Oh yeah, yeah. I trash talk for every one of my guys. I trash talk on Facebook. I trash talk in the bulletins, especially my guys in gold uh, and bronze because I'm not in a management position in those leagues. I trash talk a lot for those guys.
Nice, nice. And you said you won your elite out of the UNL.
Yes, out of the UNL and the bronze.
Nice. And that
Yeah.
was with what fighter?
His name is the Hawaiian Delight Joe Kona,
The
and
Hawaiian Delight Joker.
he's actually in. I played it out as because in the UNL you have to have from one guy from America and one guy international. So I played it as both of these guys are of Samoan descent. They're actually brothers, but one grew up in Hawaii in America, and one grew up in on the western Samoa island, which is actually international.
Nice.
But they're brothers. They found out they were brothers probably about 4 or 5 cycles in, and they've been running together ever since.
Nice, nice. Now you mentioned your cast there in the NWL.
Hmm. They
Was this their life cycle or
Yeah, they actually they just had their last cycle, and then 2 days later was the IWAR draft. My two guys from the NWL got drafted to the IWL and then traded to the CWL. And
nice?
I actually brought in a brand new guy for the draft too, and he got drafted to the CWL too. So all three of my guys are in the CWL.
Nice, nice. That'll work out there. I
Yes.
heard the Blazer Corporation looks like they're gonna migrate there after their NWL days are over.
Yeah. I mean, our crop of NWL guys, and I said it in my TT the last couple cycles in the NWL. It was a legendary cast. You go into the NWL and you hear about the Ricky Kyles, the Joe Borings, the Drunks, all those guys who came through the NWL and set records and did so much in the NWL. And all I wanted to do was have my guys be talked about after we left. And I feel like the whole group that we had in the NWL for our year, between the Carnage Squad, the Blazer Corp, I mean, Spencer Dobson, who runs the Wrestler with No Name, hit a 501 in his first cycle.
Nice.
Like, it's ridiculous how good the crop of guys that we had in the NWL was. And now that we're leaving, and then the Blazer Corp and Wrestler with No Name, and a lot of those guys are next, and they're going to be all of our guys are going to be remembered in the NWL. This was a really good, but the NWL does have a good crop of rookies coming through now with the Star Factory, the Chameleon, Late Night Logan Kane, and all
Nice.
those guys are going to carry that torch really well.
Oh yeah, no, the NWO always has a nice crop.
Hmm. And
For
and they we were told that from being on an inside track, Kim has told us a couple times that she'll get maybe 3 or 4 new players, if that, a cycle. But it seems like the numbers are growing pretty steadily
oh
for
yeah,
the
I mean,
IWA.
and let's say it like it is. I mean, this game does have its addictive quality, so people do
Hmm.
come and go.
Oh
You
yeah, this is
know.
the third time I'm playing. I
Oh
played
yeah,
when
no,
I was.
and that's natural. I mean, everybody goes in and out. Like I said, that's part of
Hmm.
the game.
Yeah, I played when I was 16 years old. I'm 35 now. Dropped out of it. Played again in my 20s. Dropped out of it again, and now I'm back. So.
And it seems like I mean, every time I've come back, it just the progression is just exponential, man. It's
Oh
just
yeah. And I've said that to players that I've played with that don't play anymore. I've told them it's a whole new ball game with the incorporation of the internet and Facebook and everything like that. It's so much better.
oh, it is. Yeah, let's say it like it is. I mean, if you're nothing against the boards, but if you're on the boards, it's easy to hide and it's easy to just,
Hmm.
it gets old after a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this whole evolution of, hey, you know what, everyone's on Facebook, here we are, everyone's, coming up and, talking more than anything. It's the
Yeah.
beauty.
Yeah. And you know what? We're all. I mean, I have people that I feuded with. I feuded in the NWL with the Blazer Corp, but I have Jim Blazer as a Facebook friend. I talk to him quite a bit, and it's like he's a friend of mine now. Like Wes, like I didn't know Wes before the IWA, and now me and him talk 3 times a week. Like it's just that with the incorporation of the internet and Facebook, you just make friends, and it's people that you talk to. Brad Norman, who runs Joe Boring in the CWL, he will message me out of the blue. Hey man, what's up? How you doing? And it's just great. It's a whole new community of guys that you would have never been a part of if you didn't join this game.
Oh yeah, and that more than anything, it has its pockets, and I think that's that's my thing with the internet interfed radio is like I tell people I go my goal is to get everybody's play style out there so that hey I know this person and I know this person are they're angle based players, they're trash talk based players. Let's try and coordinate and get to some of these leagues to work some angles.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we love in the GNL, we love the new guys who come in and really start right off the bat, just start their feuds and get it going. That's why Anthony Hodges and Hijacks is just building up to be potentially the match of Collision Course, because these two just every tour it's just going at each other. It's funny stuff. It's really great stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I mean not to take away anything from the other angles we got building up to Collision Course, because I mean everything that I see that's going on that you guys are building up is
Hmm.
like the Cage of Honor and the Boys Are Back in Town feud. I mean that thing's another one that's
Oh
that
yeah.
one's been yeah that one is how can you say it, that one's it's a battle on the title page.
Oh yeah, yeah. We and we made that best of 5 series, and it seems like every tour we're like, oh man, dude, what are we gonna do if it doesn't go to 5? But I mean, it's just the way it rolls, and we'll come up with something. But those guys, and one of the great things about the GNL is that you can't just say, oh, go to the GNL. It's a great trios division. Oh, it's great. We have a great singles division. We have a great tag team division with the Cage of Honor boys. The boys are back in town. You got the NOJ guys now going with the trios. You got the boys are back in town, Cage of Honor, the NOJ boys. You got Highly Suspect. You got the
The
Flock.
Flock. Oh
You
yeah.
got so many good.
I mean,
And
and not to take anything away from the new guys. I mean, the Clarks and the BNC. What was it?
uh,
Oh yeah. I mean, the at
I
any
love
minute there.
I love the new I love Josh Butterscotch. I rag on his dad every show. And to be honest with you, I love the idea of jumping Jim Jupiter. I love the idea. It's just the pictures are a little generic, but
Oh yeah, no. There's just so many different characters there in the GNL, man, and you know,
and
and oh,
you
go
know
ahead.
what I really love about everybody, and it's I'm not sure if me, Wes, and I started this with Doragon and Prince, and if everybody followed suit, or if this was everybody's like look from the beginning. But every character has a backstory. Every character has somewhere that they've been before, that they came from. You got Highly Suspect, who is entrepreneurs. They got a smoke shop. They got a bodega. You got the Flock, who has their church and their cult following. You got the NOJ boys, who came through tryouts and had to fight their way in. You got the boys are back in town, who are from other leagues. There's other boys are back in town in other leagues,
Oh
so
yeah, no.
they
Remember they ran the boys are still in development angle
yeah,
to get into the
yes.
boys are. Oh yeah.
So everybody has a story. I mean, Dorgon was born in Mexico, but went to Japan. Prince Lee is from England, where his dad is a king. The Gerard brothers in the realm, they're advisors to the king. So everybody has a really good backstory, and
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's what.
it's. I think I've gone on air. I mean, you can literally close your eyes and say, okay, I can see Dorgon. I can see,
Hmm.
and you can. They're just, they're characters that you can feel, even without,
Oh yeah, it's everybody puts real good work into their characters, and I think that is a big part into the GNL success.
Oh yeah, no, and I mean, I know it's hard to give yourself credit, James, but you guys really do a good job, man, and I'll keep
Yeah.
saying that because, I mean,
Well, I'm.
there's so many other leagues out there, James, that are
Mhm.
I mean, I'll mention one, right now that we're trying to help out, kind of develop into some more cohesiveness, and uh, it is the BBL because it's a limit league. Also, we have a lot of similar managers
Hmm.
there, and but at the same time, just trying to get that coordination is all it is tough, because I mean, not everybody has the time. Like you said, it does take a lot of time. It does it does require some kind of discipline.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, and you know us, we give all the credit to all the managers. We we can put the structure in place, but it takes like we say to every manager in the GNL. If you have any questions, if you want to get in contact with anybody, contact us and we'll get you in contact with them. Because that's what's going to make for good storylines. If you guys are on the same page, it just makes for great storylines and surprises and stuff like that. It's just it if you want to come out of nowhere with a great angle, you really got to contact somebody and try and put it together. Try and be on the same page.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think a lot of our managers do that really well.
Oh yeah, no, and this is running these shows has allowed different commissioners to hear other commissioners perspectives and their take on getting either angles across or getting or running a pace.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I love our pace. I mean, I got the UNL is a faster pace. They have a tournament every cycle,
Oh yeah.
and I don't mind that. I like the tournaments. I see how my guys are doing and everything like that. But the pace that we run in the GNL is more of a story. And I've said to Wes a bunch of times, I could lose every match, and I wouldn't care as long as I'm writing a good story.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I mean, I can't say that I purposely lose, but
No.
like I said, my charts are definitely not the best way to play, but I do get lucky from time to time, and
Mm,
but oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I mean, just as long as I can get that story across and move my angles forward, it's it does it. That kind of calms the fix.
oh yeah, yeah, and that was a great thing when Wes first came to me. He was like, "Oh, the flock guys attacked Dorgon. I'm gonna start. Why don't we start Dorgon and Reverend James Jones, and then you guys can fight for the title?" I'm like, I don't really think Dorgon deserved that at that time. But as we went along, like I love this rivalry right now because the darkness of Reverend James Jones brings out the dark side of Dorgon,
Nice.
and
Like
and
you,
it's
it's like if
it's
you go
making it
low,
so
we're
much
gonna go
better to read.
lower. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's making it so, and just like the picture I put up on Facebook, and and the picture that I posted in the bulletin for Dorgon, like it just makes it so much more fun to write.
Oh yeah, no, and anything that a manager brings out, the best in others, because
Hmm.
if you get some kind of material, and next thing you know, like I mean, like we saw on Facebook, he must have seen your image in the bulletin, and so he's like, okay, you know what, let me throw this out there, and when I
Yeah.
saw that little video, man, I'm like, oh,
Oh
this
yeah.
guy.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure he pays attention to the show and knows that I run Dorgon, and I've said on multiple occasions that the flock scares the crap out of me, and that little kid is what I picture every time I think of the flock. So when I saw it, I'm like it kind of hit on a personal note. I'm like, oh, he's trying to scare me out of this match.
Oh man, that works out good. Hey, now, what else do we have building up for Collision Course? I know we had the Boys in Backyard Town and the Cage
Hmm.
of Honor. We mentioned the Anthony Platinum Prince versus Hijacks. Uh,
Yes, yes. We have. Let me think. We do have a trios title match. I'm not really. I believe the. I don't want to go on record and say, but I believe the NOJ boys are getting the title shot.
okay,
I'm not positive.
nice.
Don't quote me on that yet, but I'm sure within the next couple tours we'll be going through that. But also, we are a go. We're going to start putting up on Facebook after this tour. We're doing a Taboo Tuesday. I mentioned it the one time in our show, and everybody jumped at it. So for the matches that don't already have stipulations, we're going to post up some stipulations, and we're going to let
Nice,
everybody vote on them. And
nice, nice.
it's basically going to be your guys' choice. It's going to be the managers, the fans' choice on what kind of match they want to see these guys fighting.
Nice. That'll work.
Yeah,
Like you said, leave it up to the other managers. Your fate is in
yeah,
their hands. Your fate is
yeah.
in.
And we're gonna have some other matches trickling in, but those are the ones. I mean, the title matches. We got the title matches. We got some real good stuff uh
I
coming
know.
in the works.
I know. Right now we've been going back and forth with the Gulfport boys and Josh Butterscotch because
Yeah.
if I don't know if you noticed, but the last two times that they faced each other in a trios championship match,
Hmm.
his anxieties gotten the better of him, and he's gotten tired of Frogger J and Doc Washington cheating.
Yeah.
So both times he's managed to let his anxiety get the best of him and ended up butter dropping a Frogger J. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how that works out because I believe his father has a real big influence in his character, and I mean, there's so much happening at all times with these characters that it's really hard to keep up with the most recent stuff. But I mean, I read through every bulletin every cycle and go through all the trash talk and like you've heard from Wes and you'll hear from me, we go over our time limit every time. And,
oh yeah,
and it's not by a
I'll
little
go.
either.
I'll go on record. I'll go on record as to say this, man. I mean, because I'm at work and I got plenty of time, man. I mean, I've heard. I mean, that last show had me rolling, man. You guys were on fire.
Well, listen, the funniest part about that is I didn't even know about his situation, I'll call it, until he just messaged me. He was like, "Yo, you ready to do the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he's like, "I got a surprise for you." And I'm like, "What?" And he calls me. He's like, "I'm drunk." I'm like, "What the hell?" So
Oh
I'm like,
man.
"Well," I'm like, "You know what? Just swing it. That's what we do. Just swing it."
Nice. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I have
Ah,
a blast. I have a blast every. I was real nervous about starting the show, but the more and more compliments we get, and the more and more feedback we get, it makes it so much better. And people saying like every show we sound like we're getting more and more comfortable. It makes it. It's because we are getting comfortable. We love doing this for our managers.
oh yeah, no, and I mean, you guys. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, all credit. Give them credit because they're the ones that began this revolution. I mean, the I
Hmm.
War, definitely opened my eyes to a different way to play this game, and
Hmm. Yeah,
so. Oh yeah, they're
those
innovators.
guys, when you come into the NWL, they really do a great job of taking you under their wing. And I mean, from experience, because I came in and to be honest, I didn't even know if it still existed. I just looked it up online and found all the information. And I got back in and I found out about the NWL and how they made a rookie only league and thought it was great. And these guys were just every day. It's like, how you doing? Have you read this yet? Read this. Listen to this podcast. You'll get better.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it's just trial and error, and they're there for any questions. And I don't think we would be where we are in the GNL without them because they really we turn to them for a lot, and that's why we give them so many shout outs is because when we're stuck, those are the guys that we go to.
Right. Oh yeah. No. And and I'll go on record saying this as well. I mean, when you guys started your podcast, I was like, okay, this game is really moving forward fast.
Mm-hmm.
because and it is a copycat type game because that's by nature, that's just.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, hey, you know what, I got to get my foot in this game because yeah, this thing is moving at a pace that okay, if it's getting to this where we can have a lot of little shows, and I was loving it. I'm like, okay, this is where the game needs to go.
Yeah, it's really going fast.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, and you guys do a great job, like I said, just as well as they do. I mean, just navigating the angles, and I'll say this, moderating the league.
Yeah, I mean it goes all different ways, and I mean to me like this is a giant thing. Like the IWA in whole is just a giant, and there's certain leagues that you can go to, and it's this tight where there's not a lot of trash talk, but it's good for big roster players. But then there's a different class. There's something for everybody, and that's what I try and get across to a lot of guys that I talk to.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that it always comes back to our motto here on the Interfed. Play your way. There's a
Hmm.
lot of a lot of ways to play it. Play your way. And oh yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I just want to go on there and like I said, I can't wait till Iron Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. I mean it's less than 24 hours away, and I'll tell you what, I got the perfect job now because I get out at 3:30 and it drops about 4. So as soon as I get out of work, I'm refresh.
F5, go. Nice.
And
Well,
it's definitely I mean, and to see the hard work that we put in, because you wouldn't believe the Thursday before Iron all the way up till like Sunday, we're back and forth, and it's just I need this. Well, I need this. What are you going with Strat? Well, I need the GM report. And it's just,
nice,
it's the
nice,
busiest 3 days in our lives for the next 3 weeks.
nice. And it shows and it pays off, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I was up watching uh, WWE Evolution last night,
Oh yeah, that
and
was that was that was that was a good one. That was a
yeah,
good
that
one.
was and writing my TT at the same time.
Nice,
So
nice.
it's you definitely got to be good at multitasking.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there at work sometimes with my computer and my bulletins out, and coworkers pass by and they look at me and they're like, uh, you, your stocks? What do you do? I go, no, no, not my. It's my fantasy wrestling. Your fantasy wrestling, really? Yeah, like I go, I'm
Listen, man,
sorry. I go, I
I
go,
play.
I do fantasy football. I do fantasy wrestling. I do, I
I'm
go,
right
but
there with you, brother.
yeah, so.
I'm actually in first place in my fantasy football team right now.
Ah, congrats. My team blew real quick, man. I got hurt. Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna
Oh
talk.
man, you know what? I stepped in a little bit of poop there, and I drafted Patrick Mahomes in like the 10th round, and it's been a cakewalk so far.
Ah, look at you. Nice. Oh that's that would have been a lifesaver in my yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, Mr. James, is there anything else on your side you want to go over, put on air before we lock this one up?
No, just everybody check out the Generation Next League Facebook page. Um, if anybody's thinking of joining Generation Next League, you can contact myself or Commissioner Nichols. We're both on the Generation Next Facebook page, and we'll help you out getting into a feud or whatever. But definitely check out Generation Next and just keep up to date with the IWAR and the UNL. You can find any of my guys in there, and I'd be happy to help anybody out that needs a little bit of push getting into a new league or getting a feud or having a team or whatever. I'm up for a lot of ideas. And
Nice.
like we say, like me and Wes say all the time, if there's any questions, don't feel feel free to contact us because we're here. That's why we're here. We're trying to make Generation X League first and foremost the one of the top leagues. We're pushing on that top 10 in matches, and we're really trying to get it over.
I think this is going to be the cycle, man.
I think so too, man.
I'm pushing for that one, man. I'm hoping you guys get into the top 10.
We actually talked about it last night, and I'm like, yo, how much money do you have to spend? And he was like, well, how much money? I'm like, we gotta put some extra matches in. So we're really pushing. We're trying to just break that top 10. Because honestly, if you could break the top 10 in your first year, that's huge.
Oh yeah,
that is huge, yeah. And that's us following in the footsteps of the guys who came before us. Because all the IWAR leagues are always in the top 10.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta make that push to the top 10, definitely.
But yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact myself or Commissioner Nichols about the Generation X League, and we'll be happy to help anybody out.
That sounds like a plan right there. I'll make sure everybody gets out to you guys because, like I said, I'm enjoying it, so I want to make sure more and more people get there and get a chance to enjoy it with us.
And that's the goal. I mean, we just want everybody to have an enjoyable time. We want everybody to have, like I said before, this is a game, and we take it as a game. We all have fun. Nobody's here to really trash talk any single person, but I mean, we like to have fun with our characters, and it's just like in real wrestling when you see the backstage, like these guys are fighting it out in the ring, but to go backstage and they're giving each other hugs, telling each other good job. That's how we are. We just want everybody to have each other's back and put out a good product.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely have that manager to manager camaraderie. You know, everybody knows they're going to go out there to work, and everybody wants to put on a good show, and it shows.
Yeah, and we're really proud of everybody who puts in the work for this league, and we really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Okay, you guys have been listening to the director of talent relations there in the Generation X League, Mr. James, and myself, IWA Flip. You guys have a good afternoon, good evening, guys. Hey, take care,
guys.
James. Good night.
Good night, bud.